You know, it's really beautiful to hear the sound of your voices and then slowly becoming more and more silent. And this is also interesting, you know. Who's the audience now? Are you, or are you looking at them? Maybe? Because, we hope that you would take the liberty to also sit here on the stage, because I'm going to talk with you. It's easier if you're here. So, thank you. Yes. Fantastic. Please do. And don't feel obliged. I will walk around, because this really is the interactive part of our meeting. So there are two people holding microphones, running up and down. If you want to make it easier for them, please, indeed, if you're sitting in the back, just come over here. Because it doesn't matter where you are, I'll ask you questions anyway, right? Yeah. So, well, I hope you had a good workshop session. Maybe you noticed that during these sessions we had some eavesdroppers of luistervinken. People who were just merely observing and trying to analyze or to make sense out of what was being said. And I'm going to find them and ask them what they heard. So maybe let's start with the workshop that was focused on updating land art. What would land art in the future look like? And, I was wondering, Hilde, there you are. Just as if I knew it, right? I'm going to take the microphone. And, hi, Hilde de Bruin, professional eavesdropper. Yes, so what did you hear about the future of land art?
I heard a lot of many different things. Yeah. Or that sounded at least different at first sight, or at first hearing. But were actually was quite a contingent story. But there was one story that stuck out. And if you don't mind, I would like to read it out loud.
Please do. Shall I hold the mic for you? There you are.
Yes. It's a beautiful story that says something about the future at least. That says something about the future at least. And the title is I am the land, the sea, regardless. Here I am. I experienced how you praised me, how you utilized and exploited me. I experienced how you turned me into a beautiful image to please your own eyes, but not appreciated or cared for what I truly am. I experienced how your right and left-wing ideologies politicized me, and how artists try to decorate me, something I don't care for. But I do appreciate how you now try to care for me, that you have started to acknowledge that I have a very long history before you. I appreciate your attempt to find new ways of communication with me. Maybe we can find each other materially. After all, whenever you die, you become part of me again. Perhaps we find each other in poetry. Is a symbiotic relation between us possible? Or that you ever consider that I, the land, am just indifferent to you? Whatever we do, please be mindful that going back to the land can be a dangerous turn, as 20th century events have shown us. Kisses, the land and the sea.
Oh. Heel mooi, dankjewel. Wow, that's really beautiful. Thank you very much, Hilde. And no pressure for the next eavesdropper. Yeah, so Dre, you're the next one. You've been talking about preserving land art.
What do you think? What are the new heritage perspectives for land art?
Well, my personal or the groups that I was looking at.
You would rather share your personal thoughts?
No. It was very interesting to see we had 5 different groups, and in a way we had 3 different perspectives Yeah, I will do. Three different perspectives. Two of the groups said what we have to do is evaluate land art because we want to keep it, but the way we have to keep it, it's in a changing context. It's a changing piece of art. So let's start with a procedure of selecting, and we have to develop criteria to do that. And that has to do with a critical involvement of knowledge and the different context factors that play a role in that. After selection, we need to have criteria for evaluating. And as soon as the evaluation for the land art improves, then it will be easier to maintain and manage these sites.
Dus het gaat ook om de waarde die je toekent.
Yes, it has to do with the value you add to a site. Yeah.
Okay.
But then there was another group who had a vision that they called "Let It Be." There is decay of art in the landscape, so accept it. It's decay that's the result of climate change, for instance, but it can also be of ignorance, political disinterest, and so on. And decay in itself is a development, and it can sometimes even be beautiful to look at that. So accept that there is decay, and what you have to do is document the whole process of making and the process of decay, and conserve it as a memory and not as a physical object. And then there was a third group that looked at land art and conservation of these sites in a way that you have to involve the change that is happening to a site. So yes, try to preserve the site, but accept that change will take place. So if a site can be found and is allowed to be found, then you have to take care of it. And as long as people can visit the place, so organize whatever you want and can do to bring people to these locations, then there will be appreciation for it, and that will be the basis for preservation of locations.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Dre, for summarizing the discussions for us. It took different angles. I understand. Which one would you say is your personal most?
Well, my background is from heritage conservation, so you can imagine that my first thought would be you want to preserve the site itself. And for me, most interesting in the discussion was that you can look at a completely different way to land art sites in a way that you do not preserve the physical site, but you preserve the idea behind it, the documentation that's left over from the artist who made it, and the stories from the moment it was there until it disappears. And that in itself is a piece of art as well. So that was new for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to be a museum director and we would never say, let decay go ahead. We'll document it, right? Yeah, that what happens when you're dealing with land art, yes. Thank you very much, Dre. And Dre also, yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. And Dre also wrote that book about 50 land artworks in the Netherlands, right? And I totally forgot to tell you that Hilde de Bruin is connected to Into Nature. which is also very inspiring, every edition. Thank you. And then we will turn to the public. That is to say, I will look for Merel. Merel, where are you? There you are. Okay. Please come and join me, will you? You will just take the mic? That's fine with me. Okay, you've been talking about... Oh, wow. Magic happens. You've been talking about the public. So you're an artist, I think. What did you hear? What was struck? What struck you? How do you say that?
Yeah, I think after the beautiful poetic story that Hilde read, I, as an artist, first should say amen. So I'm a bit speechless after that. What I want to contribute to that is, as I see, I'm an artist, so I made notes like this. So with that, as a summary, I think people really found it difficult to talk about public. What is that, public? Who is that? Is it still alive? Is it dead? Who are we referring to? And I think the common ground of the tables I sat in is that we were struggling with that, feeling insecure of this face of the public. As we, our artists, are liberated from that. Yeah, that's my belief, at least. So next to that, I felt there was a lot of talk about the landscape, which was also already spoken by in your group more about ownership and how to treat land, especially in these times. But there was one group that I really liked because they really made a connection between life and death. And that not only about if you should take care of an artwork or a land artwork, but also if you should visualize it as dying when it's done, and then even have a remembrance after it's no longer visible. So the remembrance of this artwork, when it's no longer visible, like a human being dying, could be a site that is important. And I thought this remembrance also came back, I think, in one of the talks earlier today. I think this is something we can also work on. If we think, I really like to go to places that have a lot of loaded energy, like rock formations or other things, and we can talk about the aura of an artwork. And the aura didn't disappear if we cannot see it anymore. So this is maybe a little bit my contribution to that. So, but I really was stuck about this combination of life and death. And I don't know how it related to the public, but at least that was present in my group.
Yes. Groups. Thanks, Merel, for sharing this. Yeah.
Just to make sure that story came from one of the groups. I didn't write it.
Huh? Yeah, thank you. Yes, is it a matter of life or death? I'm not sure. Let's talk about knowledge on land art. And I would like to find Anja Novak. There you are. Oh, thanks for being here, Anja. So you're a curator and a PhD researcher at Groningen University. And I was wondering did you find any new ways to consolidate knowledge on land art?
Well, this exercise was very creative, so maybe that was a structure to think in different, associative manners, maybe that also produces knowledge. Shall I conclude our group discussions? So in our groups, we mostly thought about knowledge towards the future and speculations about the future. And there were two big distinctions and two different perspectives. And I'll start with the human perspectives, that we need land art as heritage, but we also have a strong emotional connection to it. We love it. But we also needed to remember our histories. But the interpretations of the works, of course, will change. But the strongest conclusion from the human perspective is that we need art and also nature because we have to grapple with this uncertainty that change, and I think this is mentioned earlier also, change is really the only constant. And to understand that in an ecological way, to understand change, we can really learn from land art to think beyond dichotomies. So that's really the human perspective. We need land art and we also need nature. And then there's the nature perspective, and nature does not need us. So there we had like several stories that were personifications of non-humans, both geological and biological. So we had one story was I am the rock from the future. And we had another story which was the beetle says, quote, we may not need land art. So yeah, this was a very strong message that towards the future, humans really need art and land art to learn to let go. Because the earth will always have more agency and will outlast us, no matter what happens. So and then I think the last remark, which came from our group, was, I thought, very beautiful. Our fight will become a dance towards the future, and we need land art to learn that.
Thank you. Yes. We need to dance more with land art. Beerte Leemeijer, waar ben je? There you are. Yeah, okay. Well, let's have a seat here, right? Yeah, so we're talking about the spatial future of land art. And how have you been envisioning this spatial future of land art?
Well, I think many interesting things were said. And if we talk about future, an agenda for next year already has been made, I think. Yes? I mean, this is the future as well, because some topics were missed and mentioned. The first one was land art lives in Europe and America. What does global land art means? Which is a very nice question, I think, to be answered. And also climate grief. Land art can play a role in that. Also a nice topic. And collectivity. We need different multiplied approaches. And we tried to start giving an answer, but I think we need more time for that, because it's really interesting to redefine what land art is and was, and maybe in other decades and other periods there were other forms of land art that are interesting for us to learn about. So the contributions of the groups, I mean, I was a luistervink, but there were so many birds singing around me, so it was very hard to give them all the attention they really need, because many beautiful things were said. And also a very beautiful poem was made by one group, and I don't have it here, but maybe someone will come up and share it with us. I have won a score because we had to say something about the future, which is very difficult. And we share this whole idea, what will land art mean if you are in fighting in a war or in a land that's devastated. So we thought maybe it's a good idea to keep it close. And we made this score, and I would like to read it for you. 1. Leave the room, go outside. 2. Listen, explore. 3. Ask questions, also with other beings. 4. Give it time. 5. Go on a journey. Leave your bubble. 6. Enter other bubbles. Connect other bubbles. 7. Leave the work. 8. Repeat.
That was quite a harvest, I think. Did you expect it, attending the workshops, that you would have such nice reports back? We have, I'm looking at Lot, where's Lot? Yes, we have about maybe, how much time? 10 minutes? 10 minutes for a conversation. And I was wondering, the first one who dug into the earth of Flevoland was Robert Morris with his observatory in 1977. This province of Flevoland is about 40 years old. Let's think in 16 years, for example, 2040. What will it be like? It's 16 years. I myself will be 71, hopefully. 16 years, 2040. What do you hope that will be the relevance of land art in that time, period of time, 16 years? Anyone? Yeah. That was a bird, definitely. Lisa, can I ask you, if you look at the future of land art, what do you foresee? What do you hope that will happen?
Maybe I'll answer this question by telling a story that Marcus Castiez told us in the session. He went to see the Robert Morris work yesterday. And at the center is a stone. And it's a stone to stand on and to look from, to observe from. But yesterday, he noticed the stone is split in two. So when you stand, you have one foot on one side, another foot on the other side. So maybe what I hope for this thing called land art, I'm still not going to use that term, this thing called land art, is that we can have always a both and. It's a non-dogmatic way of thinking about land art. It's that we listen where we haven't listened before, and we pay attention to the agency of everything. And so perhaps in that moment of this artwork made in 1977, its fracture is a possibility for what might come next.
Thank you very much. Yes. And if you look at your audiences for land art, I was wondering, because it's so beautiful in itself, these pieces, they are here. I mean, one day maybe they will be World Heritage or whatever. But how to connect this to the local spheres of Flevoland? Have you been talking about this? Have you? Yes. Would you like to tell something about it?
We agree that we have to love it more. And in 2015, artist Rory Pilgrim was in Flevoland and he did a piece. And the piece was affection is the best protection. So I think that that's enough from me.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, thank you. But I still have a question, because it's, for us, to be honest, in our bubble, it's easy to love it. But how can we make it more lovable to others?
We have to know each other better. So that's it. We have to just invest in knowledge, to share this knowledge among the people, and especially education, not us, but the kids, to love it, to know that they are the part of this province. This is a very special thing. I think that somebody, I forgot who was that, but somebody said maybe we should sell this story to the government to understand that not only what art means, and land art in this case,
but also maybe there are some players in this game who just want to sell stuff. So we have to speak their language and to sell them this, to let us play.
Thank you, thank you. I'm crossing. You have a question? Yes. Is it about the same question? Yeah.
Yeah, because you said the first piece was Robert Morris. And I think somehow, if you look from outside, it fits so well that this region is only 40 years old and that land art plays a critical role because it's reflecting the situation of the man-made land. And so I was wondering, who is the mastermind who invited Robert Morris?
Oh, looking for masterminds here. Who was it? Martine.
This may be a little bit disappointing. It was the art world coming to colonize Flevoland. In a sense, the work was made for Sonsbeek buiten de Perken. Somewhere in there is the director of the new Sonsbeek there. In 1971, it was realized somewhere else, and then it had to be dismantled there. And so they looked to Flevoland because there's a lot of space there. Yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful things happen when there's space.
Yeah, I think this is now how to tell the story. I think for Flevoland it makes completely sense. And maybe this point has to be stressed a bit more in communication.
Yes. I was trying to get some advice from abroad. Humberto, you've been to Flevoland now, you've been here today at least. With your eyes from the Art Foundation and your experience there, how would you sell? It's not the right word, but how would you do it? Share these pieces more with the public. How do you do it in terms of programming, for example?
I don't know that I can answer your question, but I'm gonna make another distinction that I think is really important. We have been using the word colonizing left and right today, and I want to make a distinction about what it means to occupy territory versus what it means to colonize. There are different forms of occupation. One kind of occupation erases culture, takes territory, steals territory. I mean, technically, the colonies were in the United States. Everywhere else, including Mexico, where I'm from, was an imperial invasion. And, you know, I will be very careful in the way that we think about how something is displaced and then occupies a different terrain versus saying that something's colonizing a different territory. So I just wanted to make that distinction because I think we're looking for specificity, and then we should kind of like check those specificities. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I had to say.
Yeah, it's very relevant. Thank you very much. And no, it doesn't answer the question. Yeah, I'm looking for... yeah, there you are. Wait, we have something. I can sort of throw it to you. More easier. You're there, right? Yeah? Catch. Very good. And you have to speak into the cross.
Hello?
Yeah.
In the void?
Yeah.
This is kind of awkward, but okay. No, I was also thinking, it's a bit connected to what Humberto was saying, but also what you mentioned earlier. It's beautiful that we have space. And I think when we talk about the future of land art, it's also important to imagine that it's made by artists, and artists are always a reflection of the time we live in. And so I'm wondering, you know, we're also in a time where there's immense complex conflicts around the world, where space is not a given for many communities, you know. They're thrown off the land. And so I'm thinking, yeah, it's of course really beautiful that there is this bubble where this land art is possible, but also to think of how the local always is in dialogue with, you know, with an international global community and the artists that make it as well. So I think also the privilege to talk about a land that's undisturbed, where there is space that is not, it is really a privilege. And I think also when you talk about how can we draw people to come and see this, it's also not only about welcoming, let's say, Dutch students, but welcoming, welcoming can mean many different things to other communities as well. So I just want to flag that, because I think for me as an artist, it's important to, that land is always a contested area, I think.
Yes, thank you very much. You can pass it on towards the next or whatever here in the front. So how to make it welcoming to different kinds of communities? Because it's a shared space and we should take that into account.
And not take it for granted, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still stuck with the idea of how you get more people to visit it. And by nature, land art is part of nature. And we have a lot of programs about nature. And they're very popular on television, in cinema. Why don't we make it a part of that? Because it's those people, they bird watchers or whatsoever, they go to look for the 10 or 5 or whatever animals. But why can't you make it part of the landscape? Because they also go to look for the beautiful sunset, and it's part. Make it simple for them. Yeah. And those programs have a big audience. So I would say it in Dutch: onbekend maakt onbemind. I don't know how you express it in English, but it's when you make it more known to people, they will go to visit it. I think it's that simple.
Thank you. Yeah, it's culture, but it's also nature.
Yeah.
There's another entry. Well, ladies, what do you think? Shall I take a chair and just come sit next to you? This might be best, because we're going to wrap up the story, right? Yes. There you are again, because your blood, sweat and tears are in this project. I know it's a really difficult question always, that to wrap up such a day and then you're being asked, what did you think? What insights did you take from it? What do you take home? But I'm going to ask that question anyway. So you can look each other in the eye and decide who will go first.
Oh, that's mean. There's so much that I heard. And also what I think, there's so many things we have to discuss further. That's what and there's not one particular thing that crosses my mind at the moment. But I found it very interesting what Humberto just said about this colonizing and occupying. The definition of land art, we try to not go into that subject, but we have to. That's also something I think that's really important. And what I really also, what I take from today as well is that I think it, because it's a lot of you did come and we didn't expect that. So I really think that we, also that there's a necessity or maybe an urge to discuss these subjects. So I think that's also for us, that's what we take also to look into the future. How can we facilitate and go further with the... Yeah, I feel that it is a beginning, of a dialogue. So please don't be mad at us as some subjects have not been taken care of enough, but because we are aware, but it was a start. And I think you were really wonderful for that start as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, Martina? Yeah.
Thank you. I think there's two things that come to my mind. The first thing actually happened during the session I was in the first part of the afternoon. And I was noticing in the session, but also throughout the day, how this is very much a values story. About many things that come up have to do not so much with space and with building and with problems of of culture of city planning or landscape planning that need to be solved. Long time ago, art, or not so much a long time ago, but a while ago, art was had to fix problems, and there seems to be a hunger here, or at least maybe in society at large, to have it be about values again, and not so much about problem solving, but that maybe values are part of solving the problem. So it's just very moving to hear everybody here bringing these things to the fore. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't forget the second thing. Maybe.
Yeah, but I think that's a beautiful observation. That if you take the values as a point of departure, it also changes your view on what landscape is and can mean in society in a diverse range of ways. Now, I'm very aware that I already mentioned to you at the beginning, for those who were not stuck in the train, that we're sort of writing history, because we gathered this network here today for the very first time, in Flevoland. And Flevoland has this unique collection of land art works, and these fantastic ladies are very keen on developing this debate, but also developing this network. So how has it been for you to have such a crowd together, and what do you hope that they will do, you as a next step?
Next year, well, I would really like to hear from organizations, people, what they would like to discuss or what they would like to organize with us. So that's maybe also because of course we've already been working a lot with partners that were quite close to us during the work we did. But of course, we really would like, that you step forward or contact us to really think, oh, maybe this could be a very interesting event, and maybe we can organize it together, or maybe we can dive in. I don't know. But please make yourself known, because we don't want to decide what are the interesting things to discuss.
Well, that's very generous of you. And of course, there is an informal network internationally of land art, but is there also a formal international land art network?
There is a European land art network of a few smaller organizations, and I say smaller, we are small as well. We're just not part of it. But I haven't come across anything else. Yeah, I just wanted to mention them. Yeah.
Maybe in 2040 it will be there. Yeah. Okay. And then I know, let's talk about dreams a little bit, because you managed to get this whole day together, but I know that you're also dreaming of the future. And one of these dreams might be a new knowledge center on land art. So what does this dream look like?
It could look like a network of organizations, I think, that do research, do programs, experiment, and make this debate or these subjects, issues, more alive. That's what I think. And I think to a lot of different people, because that's also what I like about today. In the pre-program, it was really like experts talking on certain subjects. And now, in my group, there were a variety of people working on this subject. So you already know from the audience that there's a variety of people present. And I don't know how it looks like. There's probably examples, but how to bring all these different knowledge of people together. So it's also the wisdom of the crowd, maybe, because I think a lot of people that are into plants and greens are also very important. So maybe now.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and the knowledge center can be, it can sound very stuffy. I don't think that's what we want. I think we would like it to be maybe like a laboratory as well, where can be experimented with how you gather this knowledge and how you, and the one nice thing about Flevoland, there's two nice things about Flevoland. One is the collection is completely nicely laid out over the map. It's so nicely spread out, and therefore it's like a chance to connect to all these different areas, these local areas in Flevoland. So there's like a movement. If you would say centrally that you are a collection, there you can quickly decentralize because it spreads out over not only Almere, big cities and the big stories, but also the smaller places. I think that's very interesting. So knowledge that goes in that direction as well. Again, I forget the second. I shouldn't say this anymore. I have two things to say.
We are getting used to it now. So, yes. So one of the things that strikes me when it's about land art, whether it's about land art in Flevoland or land art internationally, is that it's so much fragmented. You know, we've been listening to Humberto Moro of the Art Foundation. They have this hand spread, you know. They're holding the little ropes of all the puppets playing on all. Even in Kassel, you have a place now that you work that you maintain. So this is possible, but you have to. Someone has to hold the strings in some kind of way. I was just wondering how many people and your experience, your networks, your knowledge, sort of today we sort of brought this together as a one-time event, but it would be good to make more use of it, you know, to make it, to bring it together. Whom of you thinks it's a good idea to have a knowledge center on land art in there? No? Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Well, we're counting votes. Thank you very much. Yeah. And I think that's a good cue for you, Mr. Simonse. Dus voordat ik allemaal in kaartjes laat vallen. We gaan het afsluiten met een formeel momentje. En daarvoor wil ik u graag weer naar voren halen. Sjaak Simonse, goed dat u weer terug bent gekomen. Na even wat andere afspraken. Maar wat hebt u gehoord waarvan u denkt, ja, als ik zo de deur uitloop, dan neem ik dat wel mee?
You translate?
Ja.
Oké. Ik ben een boerenzoon. Dus mijn opa begon in Flevoland te boeren.
I will translate, so if you give me some sound. Yes, thank you. I'm a farmer's son. I was born in Flevoland.
This young land. Don't translate. Okay.
Ga je gang, dat is helemaal goed.
En de derde generatie is, my generation is very proud about this land. There's no way this land will be overstroomd.
Yeah, flooded.
No way.
It will not be flooded again. Yeah.
Dus dat wat exposure zegt en Tony Gormley, no way.
Yeah. So Anthony Gormley warns us that it will be flooded, but he tells us no way.
Er is te veel energie in onze generatie om dat te laten gebeuren.
There's too much energy in our generation to let that happen. Yeah.
We gaan hier hoogwaardige landbouwbedrijven tot in lengte vandaag.
Yes. So agriculture will be our key mission till the end of days.
That's our bubble.
That's our bubble. Fair enough.
Ik dacht dat jullie ook in een bubbel leefden.
You thought we were also living in a bubble.
I thought that. Maar in dat korte tijdje dat ik hier was, heb ik gezien dat er allemaal verbindingen waren. Yeah. Met de omgeving, met wat het klimaat doet, met de people. allerlei verbindingen en jullie willen die verbinding echt maken.
Yes.
Jullie leven niet in een bubbel.
So I've seen, the short while I was here, that there are so many connections with the environment, with climate, with the people. And I've also seen that you want to make that connection.
Ik ben een boerenzoon. En ieder jaar strooien we zaad. En er komt altijd een oogst.
I'm a farmer's son. Every year we throw out the seeds and we harvest.
Ik krijg straks van jullie ook heel veel zaadjes in een doos. Hè? Maar wat de oogst zal zijn, dat weet ik niet. Het kan wel eens een hele grote schuur voor nodig zijn.
You never know if the harvest will be good.
Precies.
Yes.
Jij snapt dat.
Ja.
Ja.
Ja. Heel mooi, dankjewel. Thank you. Stay here, because we do have a present actually, and Anne and Martine will hand it over to you. And it is you've read your script, because it is inderdaad een boek, een kistje. En in dat kistje zitten allemaal kaarten. Hier is die. Kom er maar even tussenbij. Ja. En op die kaarten die zijn geschreven door alle mensen hier in de zaal. Dat is hem. Ja, nou, applaus maar, hè?
Ja, ze zitten er allemaal in als het goed is. Dus daar kan nu...
Vast, dan kun je er één pakken.
Ja. Kun je rustig...
Als je wil, kun je er eentje pakken en voorlezen.
Ja.
De land art kunstwerken in Flevoland zijn uniek in de wereld. Whole Flevoland is land art.
Oké, beautiful. Oké. Dankjewel.
Thanks a lot.
Ik wil graag vragen of we nog één fotomomentje vanaf de andere kant, hè? Met de mensen in de zaal ook erop. Ja? En met jullie beiden misschien zo? Ja. Heel goed. Oké, cheer a little bit. Ja, woe! Nou, wie had dat gedacht dat er een boek geproduceerd zou worden vandaag? Hartelijk dank, meneer Simonse, voor uw komst en veel leesplezier gewenst. En ik dank jullie allen hartelijk. Ga lekker zitten en ik geef het woord aan jullie beiden. Toch? Voor de laatste etappe.
Ik kan een beetje nastaan, maar het is...
Nee, we doen het samen, Martine. Ik wil best al die namen gaan opnoemen. I will switch to English again. What a day. We want to thank, first of all, you, the public, to share everything with us. All the lovely ideas, comments, etc. And for the rest, first of all, of course, we want to thank our keynote speakers, Humberto Moro, Britta Peters, and their lovely reference moderators, Lisa and Anja. And of course, our moderator of the day, Meta Knol. You did a wonderful job. And we have a very nice present for these people. And Martine will get it. And maybe you can all come forward so we can offer it to you. Humberto, Lisa, Anja, Britta, and Meta. It is a very unique present. Yeah, it is made by the artist Sachi Miyachi, who has made this installation in our art pavilion in the Kunstmuseum M. So it's a little special edition. Sachi is also here, I think. I don't know where. Hello, Sachi. She made it. Yeah. So you can open it, yes. Open it. No, it's well. You're never sure, but maybe Hanneke already told us this morning about the installation that's there. And it's called, in English, Come and Play, Practicing Optimism. When times are rough, Miyachi invites you to practice positivity. So this is something you can practice. Wow. And also for everybody here in the audience, if you want to go to see this lovely installation, you get free entrance at the pavilion. So show it to the public. It's a little piece.
And it is a sculpture, but you have to hold it with balance and grace, and I have neither of those two things. But I will practice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. So, and now we're going to have a long list of many thanks, but yeah, we are really grateful to a lot of people. Shall we do it like this? Yeah. We would like to thank Reframing Studios for arranging the breakout sessions and all the experts for sharing their ideas and experiences. We hope we don't miss anyone.
And I am coming back to a small note Humberto made this morning about this little group that has been traveling through the land for the past week or since Monday. And we would like to thank them for being here. They are, of course, Humberto Moro, Lisa Le Feuvre, Marijke Lukovics, Johannes Hedinger, and Alex Hodby. I can't see you all. Thank you for being here, and thank you Mondriaan Fonds. They were part of the visitor program of the Mondriaan Fonds that was specially organized. So big thank you to them as well. And to Hako de Ridder, indeed.
Yeah. And then, of course, Vincent de Boer, Simone Vermaat, Lydia Beerkens, Orlando Maaike Gouwenberg, Benno Tempel, Rubia Balsem, Marjolein Dijkman, Annemarie van der Weijden, Rianne Makkink, Susanne Sanders, Mieke Konijn en Patricia de Vries. Ik hoop echt dat we niemand zijn vergeten.
Ik hoop het ook, ja. Those were the experts in our previous afternoon session. We also have a gift for you. We will come and bring it to you during the... I don't have an example with me here, but I will... It's 2 books. They are about walking. Very, very land art related topic. One is very philosophical. Rebecca Solnit's Wanderlust, a book I enjoyed very, very much. And the other is very practical. Flevoland in a few walks. And amazingly, all of the walks end at Robert Morris's observatory. So, yeah, great. Then we would like, of course, to thank our partners of the voorprogramma, of the warming up program. Stroom Den Haag, Rijksdienst Cultureel Erfgoed, the Dutch Cultural Heritage Agency, Flevolab, University of Amsterdam, the Holt Smithson Foundation, Land Art Contemporary, Land Arts of the American West, the program of Texas Tech University. And thank you also to Institut Français and Nederlands Consulaat in New York, Dutch Consulate in New York. Then I give it to you.
Yeah, thanks to the Ministry of OCW, Gemeente Almere, Provincie Flevoland, Mondriaan Fonds, Cultuurfonds voor de financiële bijdrage aan dit programma. And last but not least, we would like to thank the Land Art Lives team because they've not been in the spotlight. Of course, you are here all. But we cannot thank you enough. Here, there's Michel, Saskia, Mirjam, Lot. En dan hebben we ook nog Anne-Louise van der Dol. Ik weet niet waar je bent. Isabel da Costa en Joya. En Martine. Ik wil jou ook nog even bedanken. Voor de reis, what a journey we had.
We are such good traveling partners, it turns out. So I think we'll go on for a little while. And thank you as well. Yeah.
That was it. Come have a drink.